I gotta admit, sometimes it's really hard to come up with ideas to talk to you guys about. Today, I was driving on the road and I saw somebody aggressively cut somebody else off, and I was thinking, oh, road rage would be a great topic to talk about. And I was even hoping that it would be a funny video. Up until a few hours ago, I was looking up some road rage articles and I saw that there's a big case going on right now. There's a woman in LA who had her son killed by a road rage accident. And it's really sad because apparently the story goes something like this. She was driving with her kid and aggressively cut off somebody else, and they took that super personally and shot through her car, and they ended up shooting her son who was in the back seat, and he ended up dying. The shooter eventually was charged for murder and got 25 years in prison, but the case is coming back up because the husband is now suing the mother for recklessly driving and saying that it's her fault actually that her son or his son died, and I guess their son died. Now, I don't know a whole lot of details in the story, but what I can tell you guys is that if someone is shooting their gun from driving, then it's probably safe to say that it's nobody's fault outside of that person's, because they're obviously already a little bit unhinged to the point where they feel like that's the best result. And sorry, I don't mean to laugh at the incident, but that is a crazy response to something as little as driving. And it made me think about all of those different times where I've had some crazy accidents happen where I'll just be driving on the highway and somebody takes something I do personally. I mean, we all have those moments where maybe we shouldn't have merged or we had like a really close call. But sometimes it's really not on purpose. And I think somebody got really mad at me because I was driving 65. It was a 60 and they wanted me to go like 67. And so they merged to my right and sped up as fast as they could to cut in between me and another car and then just cut me off. And that was the closest call I've ever been to. And then they decided to slam on their brakes just to show that they were so cool or something like that. And we were like this close to like crashing. And after that moment, I invested in a dash cam, which I highly recommend all of you guys do. You can find any of those on Amazon, and no, I'm not sponsored by them, but I would definitely recommend it because in case you guys get into any trouble later on, then you'll have something to show that it wasn't necessarily your guys' fault. Also, make sure that if you do get a dash cam that you look at how it connects, because mine is a little bit janky, it connects to my phone's Wi-Fi, but you just want one that plugs in and figures it all out on its own. Anyways, that's besides the point. And so this close call accident made me think about a lot of different things when it comes to driving, and road rage is getting way too out of hand. I don't understand why people like to take everything personally, especially when it comes to driving. I mean, we're not the main characters. There's a bigger world outside of ourselves. And the truth is that sometimes people just don't think. And they don't think about how something they do is going to affect you or how something could be construed. Really, people are very selfish and they just need to get from point A to point B. And the fact that people try to act on this is beyond me. I don't understand why driving has to be something that is super personable. I mean, let it go. I wish that we could all do that. I struggle with it too sometimes where people do something stupid to me and I'm just like fuming for minutes thinking about like, oh my God, like, ugh. But then I got to remind myself, I've probably done something like that too to somebody. And at the end of the day, they're gone. I don't even see them because they're off speeding by like 20 miles an hour and they're just in Narnia now, and you just need to let it go. Because at the end of the day, if you decide to act on it, now you're putting other people's lives at danger that didn't ask for any of this. And also you're getting revenge on somebody and they don't even know you. Like most of the time, I bet they probably didn't even realize that they pissed you off. And now you're like, got this crazy story in your head and you're trying to act on it and be the tough guy. But newsflash, buddy, you're not the tough guy. Going back to the story though, I do want to say that I think it is really sad for the wife and her family to be going through this again. Apparently this accident, the original accident happened years ago back in 2021. And for the husband to be bringing it back up now in 2026, it's a little bit odd. I don't know what his intentions are. I don't know if they had a huge falling out after this, but it's really hard to put any of the blame on the mom. Like even if she was acting recklessly or driving hazardously, it's still really hard to say that that was her fault because it's not an outcome that most people would call normal. Getting really angry at driving to the point where you feel like you have to act on it to seek payback, it's just not a normal response from anybody. I don't really care who you are. It's not a normal response to just seek revenge. What can be done about this, or at least what I hope can be done, is that road rage gets taken a little bit more seriously, because this isn't the only case where something bad has happened. I'm sure that there's a lot of other people that have experienced similar incidents, unfortunately, and prayers go out to them. I hope the best for everybody who's driving, and just hope that people can make it from point A to point B. Unfortunately, we don't live in that world. It would be awesome if people took road rage driving reports more seriously, which is why I think investing in dash cams is a great idea. And honestly, I wish that all cars came with them by default, because that would solve a lot of errors. I mean, I don't understand why insurance companies don't want them. It would literally prove that your client was guilty or why your client wasn't guilty. So then they don't even have to argue over like who's got to pay the money. But I guess money is everything in insurance. Even right now with the system that is in place, it's still really hard to get anything done by submitting a clip of somebody who has road rage. Maybe that's just my experience. Maybe other states have better infrastructure where they have teams that are dedicated to doing something about this. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody having an indictment or spending jail time or getting community service from having road rage reports about them. But I really wish that they made a space where you could submit videos and with their license plate and people could do something about it. Unfortunately, right now, there's not a whole lot that is available. And it really sucks because there's nothing to deter people from acting irrationally and just being in danger on the road. All seriousness aside, I do think that temper test should be required whenever you're doing your driving exam. I mean, there should be a lot of limits as to who can drive and who cannot, because right now we got way too old people doing that. And we also have way too unhinged people doing it. I don't understand how a simple thing that's supposed to help us get from point A to point B is now this huge thing that everybody has to take personally, to the point where people feel like they need to do something if they feel wronged. I mean, what happened to just driving on the road, going the speed limit, blasting your music, having fun with friends? Like, are those days really gone? Can we not go back to those moments? I mean, everybody used to drive with like their convertibles down and just, you'd sit on the car and, you know, let the wind flow through their hair, raise their hands like it's a roller coaster. And now we just have people with their windows tinted and trying to act all cool and tough. And it's like, dudes, we don't have to live in the world where we're always just angry at each other. Like, maybe we could just try to be a little bit more relaxed and just a little bit more mindful of other people. But hopefully before any of you guys decide to act on your emotions, you can just think to yourself, was it really that deep? No. Should you act on it and put other people in danger? No. Should you just try to make it home safely and move on with your day? Yes. Please, for everybody's sake, not just mine, not just yours, not even just the person to the left of you on the street, for everybody. I hope you guys got something out of today's video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a great day.